Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Remember, when I say good morning, that means you turn on your camera and we do greetings so that we have enough time to cover our class and play a game. Good morning, Tiara. It's good to see you. All right, everyone, please turn on your cameras. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Jay. Jay, remember, I need to see your whole face, please, your whole face. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Jessica. Good. Remember, if this takes a long time, it takes away from our chance to play a game at the end. And I want to make sure we can play a game. All right, so there's only 5 people in class today. Looks like we're missing a few people. If you are in class, please turn on your cameras. Please turn on your cameras. All right, do we have a class leader in here? Who is the class leader? Do you have a class leader?
I'm the class leader. Mr.
Oh, you are, Tiara? Okay, very good. Will you please lead us in our greetings?
Greetings.
All right, so we'll try this again. As soon as Tiara says greetings, everyone turns on their microphone and does the greeting, okay? So let's try this again. And Tiara, just start saying it, okay? Lead us with that. So let's try again. Go ahead.
Greetings. Good morning, Mr. Jimmy.
Ah, that was much better. Thank you. Good morning. So I hope your classmates show up to class today because I had one message me. So thank you. Let's see here. Thank you, Bianca, for messaging me. But others are missing. Hey, it's good to see you. I got COVID. And so that's why I was not in class the last 2 weeks. And I have missed you guys. I know we barely know each other, but I am always excited to see each of you. So I apologize for missing, and I am excited to be with you today. All right. Well, let's go ahead and pray, and then we'll begin class. God, thanks so much for today. And just thank you that we are able to come to school to learn. Father God, thank you that you are the one that gives us knowledge and understanding. Today, I pray that the students will not only get knowledge and understanding, but that they will enjoy it, not only in this class, but in all their classes. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So for those that have just come into class, please remember to turn on your cameras. Please remember to turn on your cameras. All right. So one of the things I told you we would learn together was things about God. So I'm going to have something like this every class. Tell me the story. And my goal is that I don't tell you the story, but you tell me the story. All right. So if you know the story, you can turn on your microphone and say, Mr. Jimmy, I know what it is. I know what it is. Or you can type it. Okay. So can you tell me the story? Let's look at this story right here. I started with an easy one. What is this story about? You can either type it or you can say it. Either way, if you want to say it, you can turn on your microphones, but you can type it or say it. If you're typing it to me, make sure you click on my name, all right? Not on the 8A name. What story is this? Does anybody know? Any ideas? Can you tell me the story? I think at least one person can tell me the story. You can just say it even in one word. What do you call this in Indonesian, and if you don't know the English, I'll help you with the English. What's this story? It's involving 6 days. It looks like it involves the sun and moon. I think you guys know. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Any ideas what story this is? Ah, we got an answer. We got an answer. Bianca V said 7 days of God's creation. That's it. So we call this in English creation. Creation. So penciptaan or penciptaan, this is creation. Now, we know that in this story, God creates the world. He creates the light. He creates the land and the water. He creates the plants. He creates the stars and the moon and the sun. He creates the birds and the animals, and he creates humans. He creates humans, right? And God did this in 6 days. I want you to tell me, and go ahead and speak. If you want to speak, you can. What do we learn about God from this story? Not about us, but about God. What do we learn about God from this story? Anybody think they know? What do we learn about God? Just one thing. Tell me one thing you learn about God. How about I give you one and then you give me one? Does that sound good? Here's one. It tells us about how powerful God is and how glorious. Glory is kemuliaan, right? Of God. So God is so powerful, he can speak things and they exist. They become real. Can you think of one more thing we learn? Who created all this? God did. God created everything. God created everything. So we know that God is powerful and that he created everything. Do you think about God sometimes? Yeah. And do you think, how big is God or how powerful is God? Is there anything too powerful for God? Nope, nothing. So this week, our story is very simple. God created everything. And God is so powerful, there's nothing he can do. All right, well, that's our simple story for this week. Let's go ahead and jump to our first topic, which we will later play. We will use this in our game later. What you need during this time is your textbook, your notebook, and your workbook. So please make sure you have your textbook, your notebook, and your workbook, all right? Your textbook, your notebook, and work. So I'm going to give you a second to get that, all right? Now, if you see here, I gave you a little bit of a verse here. We'll just read this. We're not going to talk a long time about it. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ. So the God who created everything created you. And they're saying, blessed, we bless God and we bless Jesus because in them we receive all the spiritual blessings. All right. So please turn to textbook page 5. Textbook page 5. I have it here for us on the screen as well, but it's going to be small compared to your book. And we're going to have somebody read for us. Let me see here. Can I please ask Dewika? Dewika, will you please read this paragraph for me where it says imagery is descriptive? Please read that for us.
Okay. Imagery is descriptive language that creates word picture for readers. Imagery can make you feel you are really experiencing
Good.
what the writer is describing. A writer creates imagery by using sensory detail. These are details of sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch. Sensory detail can help you visualize or image a scan in a story or poem.
Good. You can stop there. Thank you, Dewika. So sensory details can help us visualize or imagine a scene in a story or poem. All right. So I want you to get your notebooks out. We're going to talk about imagery. All right. So please write this in your notebook. Imagery paints a picture using words. Imagery paints a picture using words. So let me give you something that we can think about. Let's say we want to talk about a dog, but we are not drawing it. We're going to describe it with our words. Now, let me tell you about a dog, and let's see if you can figure out. This dog is very, very small. In fact, it's almost the size of a purse. This dog normally has very little hair, and this dog is often a brown color. This dog does not have a big bark, but it goes yip, 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 yip all the time. Do you think you could figure out, do you think you could figure out what kind of dog that is? And I already got an answer from two people. Tiara and Bianca are both right. It's a Chihuahua. Now, did I actually show you a picture? No, I used my words to paint a picture. That's what imagery is. All right. Does that make sense? Is that a pretty easy thing to understand? Good. So then if that's easy, let's go to the next thing. Sensory details. Now, sensory details is a fancy way of saying the five senses. Sight, what we see, sound, what we hear, smell, what we smell, taste, things we eat, touch, things that we touch. Okay, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Another way of saying touch is feel, what we feel. All right. I think those things you already know. Is that right? If you already know those things, we're not going to spend a long time on them. We're just going to keep going. I want to make sure we don't waste our time on the things we already know. Okay. So we know imagery paints a picture using words like the Chihuahua. And the senses are our sensory details are our five senses. All right. So let me give you this picture right here. Look at, this is the practice on page 5. If I were to say sour lemons, which sensory detail is this describing? If I say sour lemons, which sensory detail is this going? Good. All right. I've got 2 answers. I'd like to see some more people. Anyone else want to answer? Tiara and Bianca, you did a great job in answering that. I want to see more participation. Who else can give me the answer? I'm not going to move forward until I get 5 answers. Thank you, Andrea. That's right, Jay. So we've got 4. I need at least 1 more person. I need to make sure people are in class and they're participating. If you don't participate, then I mark you with your teacher that you're not here because I don't know that you're here. So I need 1 more person. I've got an answer from, there we go, Dina. Dina, I think it's Dina. Let me check. I'm still getting your names right. Yes, Dina. Good. So the 5 of you told me it's taste. Sour lemons. Sour lemons are taste. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so we are going to go ahead and open our workbooks to page 1. Workbook page 1. We're going to do this together really fast. And so I would like you to open your workbooks to page 1. All right. We also had a lot of students enter class late today. Remember, you must be on time. You must be on time. Okay. All right. So let's look at these together. I will call on a student and I want to hear your voice, not type. I want you to speak. All right. So if we say a thick, sticky layer covered the surface, which sensory detail, which of the 5 senses is it? Shalom, can you please answer? Which sense is a thick, sticky layer covering the surface? Please speak the answer. Is it sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch? What do you think, Shalom? Are you there, Shalom? All right, Queena. Queena, can you answer? Which one do you think it is? Which of the 5 senses? What do you think, Queena? Number 1, do you think it's sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch? A thick, sticky layer. I think sticky means lenchet. Is that right? Lenchet is sticky. Which one is that? All right, and I want you to say the answer, please. Say the answer, not type it, but say it. You have the right answer, just need to speak it.
Touch.
Touch, very good. So we know this first one is touch. All right. Number two. Let's see here. I'd like to ask Ashton. Ashton, will you please tell us number 2? Red, blue, and yellow flowers danced in the wind. What do you think it is, Ashton? Can you answer, Ashton, please? Which one? Sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch? All right, Roland, number 2, please. Roland, which sensory detail is it? Let's go to Dena. Dena. Which one is it, Dena? Oh my, I think we're missing a lot of students, aren't we? I might need to talk to Miss Enda. If students aren't participating, I'm gonna have to talk to Miss Enda because it seems like very few are participating. All right, Devin, number 2. Noah, number 2, please. Noah, number 2. All right, I didn't have this student last week. They weren't here. Stephen Daniel, Putu Stephen Daniel, do you know the answer to number 2? All right, let's go to Jessica. Jessica, number 2.
Sight.
Very good, sight. Very good, sight. It's our eyes, right? We see colors with our eyes. Number 3, Andrea, a deep, loud roar came from the engine.
Sound.
That's right, it is sound. Very good. Number 4, one muffin was especially sweet and delicious. Bianca V. Bianca V.
It's taste.
Good. Taste. Excellent. And then number 5, the air was filled with the perfume of 1,000 flowers. What do you think? Oh, I got to ask someone. How about Bianca? Bianca, can you answer that one?
Me?
Yeah.
It's smell.
Smell. All right. Very good. So that's the answer. That's the answers for the top part. Let's go ahead and try the bottom part. This one you can either write in the chat or you can raise your hand and answer. We now have to think of our own idea. What would be a sentence that you could do that is focusing on sight? What is an example of sight? You can either write it in the chat or you can go ahead and raise your hand and I will let you answer by speaking. Any ideas? What would be a good example of sight? Okay, I see a dog walking. I see a dog walking. Okay, what do you see? The dog is walking. Very good. That was a good answer, Tiara. Okay, smell. Who has an idea for smell? Oh, so good. Yummy. Delicious. Is there some kind of food that makes you feel that way? My favorite. What do you guys think? Can you come up with an idea for smell? Jay, what do you think? What do you think of when you think of smell? Can you give me a sentence?
The cookie smells like chocolate.
Ah, the cookie smells like chocolate. That's a good one. The cookie smells like chocolate. Very good. Okay. Taste. Who wants to do one for taste? Ah, this is a good answer, Dina. The candy is really sweet. The candy is really sweet. That's a good answer. All right, what about touch? Touch. Or it can be feel. What's an answer for feel? What do you guys think? Any ideas? What about if you have like a ball? What can you do with a ball? You can, what's that word? Can you think of that word when you, a ball? The ball is, what do we call that? Does anybody know? I'll help out on this one. The ball is squishy. The ball is squishy. Do you know that? Like when you get a ball and you can go like to the ball, that's squishy. All right, the ball is squishy. All right, I need you guys to give me the last one for sound. What is an example using sound? Do you have a friend that sings really well? Her voice is like what? Her voice is like, oh, okay, this works. Tiara, will you just say that for us? Will you say the answer?
The music is really loud.
Ah, the music is really loud. That's a good answer. All right, good. So guess what? We have just done this workbook page together. Later on, you will send me a photo to Moodle that you have filled out the answers. So we're doing it in class, but I need proof that you were paying attention. All right, we'll do that later. All right, any questions? I think you guys got this. This is a really easy topic for you. If we're done, I think we're done with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. and we're going to jump to our next topic, which is on, it's not on a page. This one you just can listen to, all right? This one you can just listen to. We are going to talk about reading this year. I told you this before, and there are strategies, right? How to be a good reader. Now, when we're being good readers, there's lots and lots of different things that we can learn. So a reading strategy is something that helps us to read many different types of stories. You know, there's many different types, right? There's mysteries, there's dramas, there's textbooks, there's all kinds of different stories. But when we read them, we want to read them differently. We want to make sure we understand the purpose. Actually, when we learn the reading strategy, it helps us read faster. It helps us look for important information, and it helps us enjoy the story more. You don't need to write this part down. I'm just walking you through this. Now, this year, we will talk about two different types of readings. I do want you to write this in your notebook. This is very easy to write down. We're going to learn about two types of readings. One is called informational texts. All right. You can see the word information. So in informational texts, we're going to learn information. The other one is called literature. This might be more like stories. So we're going to do some informational reading and we're going to do some stories. All right. That's all you need to write down for this part. Informational texts and literature. Now, I'm going to show you the different types, and I want you to help me put them in the correct category. You don't need to write these down, but tell me, is this information or is this literature? What's the first one? The first one is social studies. Social studies. Another way of saying this is history. Is this going to be informational or literature? What do you guys think? Informational or literature? Good, Tiara, that's right. Social studies is definitely informational. How about this one? Short story. Short story. What do you guys think? That's right, Jessica. It's literature. A short story will be literature. How about this one? Poetry. If you don't know the word poetry, it's poesie, like a poem. Is that going to be informational or literature? What do you think? There's no consequence for a wrong answer. So you can say any answer and it's all right. Andrea, you got it. Poetry is literature. How about science? What's science going to be? You got it, Dena. You got it, Tiara. It is informational. Informational. A novel? That's right. Good, Jessica. Good, Tiara. Like a short story, a novel is a long story. Okay. Myth. What do you think? Is a myth informational or literature? You got it, Jessica. It is literature. Okay. So those are the types of stories we're going to learn this year. These types of stories. All right. Now, there are a lot of strategies, a lot of them. In fact, let me just put them on the screen for you. These are all the different reading strategies. These are all the different reading strategies that we're going to learn this year. It's a lot, but hey, don't freak out. Don't freak out. We'll take them one by one. All right. Okay. So we're going to learn one reading strategy right now. We're going to learn one reading strategy. And I think this one's going to be easy for you because I think it's something you already know. So before we do this one, I just want to read for you. This is the next verse in Ephesians. We talked about how we glorify God and Jesus because they bless us with spiritual gifts. This one says, even as God chose us in him before the foundation of the world that we should be holy and blameless before him. This says that God has chosen people to be part of his family before the world even began. That's why we bless God, because he chooses people to belong to him. All right. So predicting. This is page 7 in your textbook. Page 7 in your textbook. All right. Do you guys know the word predict in Indonesian? I know it's prediksi would be prediction, right? So we're going to talk about this. I need someone to read for me. Jay, will you read this paragraph for me?
You can expand your reading skills by learning to make predictions about stories. Predicting helps you better focus on a story and enhances your comprehension of it. Before you read, predict, or guess what the story will be about. To predict, follow these steps.
Very good, Jay. I'll have you stop there. And can I please have, let's see here. Can I please have, Andrea, will you read the 4 purple bullet points, the 4 purple ones?
Stop reading from time to time and ask yourself what will happen next. Look for clues in the story and illustrations. Think about what you already know. Make a prediction. As you read, check to see if your prediction is correct.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So they're telling us when we are reading a story, we want to predict what happens. So how do we do that? We have to learn to ask the right questions. So let's write these in our notebook, please. I'd like you to write these in our notebook. When we predict, the first thing, well, not the first thing, one thing we are always doing is, what will happen next? Do you feel like that in movies? Like when you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, are they going to be okay? Are they going to be okay? Oh no, oh no, are they going to be okay? I'm so worried. What's going to happen? And we sometimes try to guess what's going to happen. I think that person's going to get lost. Oh, I think that person's going to be safe. Oh, I think that person's the bad guy. Oh, I think that person's going to save the day. We predict. So in stories, when we read, we want to ask what will happen next. Then we look for clues. So when we watch a movie, we don't just say, oh, I think this is going to happen without any clues. Remember, clues is petunjuk, okay? So we want to say, is there a hint? Is there a clue about what's going to happen next? Oh, did you hear what she said? She said this. So I think that's going to happen. We look for clues. And then we use all the information, not only the clues in the movie, not only the clues in the story, but also our own knowledge. Sometimes we know things that help us predict well. Okay. And then finally, what do? We want to see if we got it right. We just want to see if we got it right. Okay. So I'm going to show you part of our story that we will read next week. I'm going to see part of our story that we read next week. I'm going to read for you because this is a long passage. And let me go ahead and start. If you want to read with me, on the screen, it's there. So I'm going to start at near the top. The stories that are told and the rituals that are practiced vary from tribe to tribe. However, they all share a common theme of gratitude for the gifts of this nutritious and tasty food. I'm going to start here. The people of the river were preparing for the first salmon ceremony, an annual event held after the first salmon of the year is caught in the river. So a salmon is a fish. In every household, families were dressing in their colorful ceremonial clothing and dusting off their drums in preparation for the evening feast. But Bree was sitting in her living room and watching television despite her mother's repeated reminders for her to get ready for the ceremony. Bree's mother, a fisher herself, took the salmon festivities very seriously. She picked up the remote and switched off the television. Can't I just eat my salmon here in the house? Bree asked. Her mouth watered from the delicious treat, but she really did not want to sit through the ceremony. Absolutely not, her mother admonished. The salmon is our most cherished food. That means like most valuable. And each year, when they travel back to our river, we must show our gratitude. Now go and get prepared. Bree reluctantly got ready and walked with her mother to the festival. Okay, so were you asking what will happen next when I read that? Do you have some ideas about what might happen next? Try to think of your ideas, and I'm going to look for clues, right? So our next step is to look for clues. Now, I noticed a few things. First, they talk about this story is a story about gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful. Then we see that people are getting dressed up, right? They're putting on their nice clothes. You're putting on your batik, you're putting on your traditional clothes because it's special. What's Bree doing? Sitting at home, watching TV, and not getting ready. Then what does she say? Can't I just stay here? I don't want to go to the ceremony. And then she reluctantly, which means she didn't really want to, but she did, got ready. Do these clues kind of give you what's going to happen in the story? Do you have any guesses? What do you think is going to happen? Does somebody want to tell me what they think is going to happen? Go ahead and write your answer in the text box, or you can speak your answer. What do you think is going to happen? So the story is about being thankful, but Bree doesn't want to go. What's this story? What's going to happen in this story? Any idea? What do you think, Dawika? What do you think is going to happen in this story? We have a story about being, they talk about being thankful, but we have a girl that doesn't want to go to the ceremony, doesn't want to leave the house. She only wants to watch TV. What do you think this story is what do you think is going to happen in the story? Tiara, that answer is a really good answer. I'm going to go ahead and wait and see if Dawika can give me an answer. Other people can also tell me what they think in the chat. Just going to give Dawika here another couple seconds. If it's easier for you to say it, Dawika, it's okay. What do you think is going to happen to Bree? All right, I think you're still working on figuring that out. Can someone else? Tiara's giving me a good answer, but I want to let someone else. Dina, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, so Dawika, thank you for your answer. Okay, so maybe that's a good possible thought. I like that. Dina, do you have an idea too? Well, let me share the two answers that I got. So Dina said, I'm sorry, Dewika said she might end up just being a really lazy person. That's possible. So far, she's been really lazy, right? That's possible. Now, I'm going to also share Tiara's idea. Tiara's idea is like maybe something happens that makes Bree change her mind and she'll be thankful too for the ceremony and the fish. That's a really good guess. So if you want to know the answer, what do we have to do? We have to read the story and find out. So next week we will read the story and find out what happened to Bree. Go ahead and if you haven't made your own prediction, make your prediction before we read it. All right, let's go ahead and do our workbook here. We're going to practice predicting. Workbook page 4. After this, we will play a game. This is our last thing before playing a game. So workbook page 4. And we're going to look at this, all right? We have a story and they're going to have us guess what happens in this story. So let me read number 1. Long ago, a native tribe in Canada hunted deer and elk. They were grateful for this food, but there were seasons when they had very little to eat. One day, the chief of the tribe heard about a fish called salmon. The question is, what do you think happened next? And the answer is, they think that the chief will try to find out about the salmon. That makes sense, doesn't it? So let's look at number 2. The chief sent 4 brothers to ask the son, who told them where the salmon people lived, all the way to the sea. Ask them politely, said the son, and they might send salmon to your river. The brothers prepared the canoes. All right, what happened next? Let's see here. Bianca V, do you think you know what happened next? For time, it's better if you will speak the answer. Speak the answer. What do you think might happen next in that story, Bianca V?
I think the chief will wait until the 4 brothers send the salmon.
Good, good. So the chief might send the wait for the 4 brothers. That's a good answer. Okay, can I have Andrea? What else could happen? What else do you think? What will happen next? So the chief wants these 4 brothers to go and find these people. What are the 4 brothers going to do? What do you think, Andrea?
The 4 brothers asked the salmon people to send salmon to the chief's river.
Good, very good. So they're going to go find the salmon people and ask them for salmon. You're right. You're right. That's a very good answer. All right. Let's continue. The brothers, number 3. The brothers paddled far into the west in search of the salmon people. At last, they came to an island with a small village near the shore. The friendly villagers introduced them to their chief, and the brothers gave the chief a gift. What do you think is going to happen next? Jay, what do you think might happen? So they've gone to the village. They gave the chief a gift. What do you think might happen, Jay? Go ahead and speak your answer. It'd be better for time. Jessica, what do you think? Any ideas on this one? What do you think might happen next? What do you think the chief might do? They've gone and found the village, and the 4 brothers gave the chief a gift. So what do you think the chief's gonna do? Any ideas? All right, Andrea, go ahead.
The chief welcomed the 4 brothers.
Okay, good. And that's a good one. The chief welcomed him. They just gave him a gift. The chief might be like, hey, glad you're here. So let's see if we did good. Number 4, the chief ordered people to prepare a feast. He welcomed them. The brothers watched the young villagers walk to the edge of the sea, jump in, and return with salmon. After the feast, the chief said sternly, you must now return with each bone, tulang, to the sea. One of the 4 brothers kept one of the bones to see what would happen. The next time the young villagers went to catch fish, they didn't come back. What happened? Why didn't they come back? What do you think happened? What's going to happen next? They're supposed to return all the bones. One brother kept a bone to see what would happen, and then the villagers disappeared because of that. What do you think is going to happen? What's the chief going to do? What's the brother going to do? Any ideas? If you want to raise your hand with an answer, you can raise your hand and I'll call on you. What do you think is going to happen? All right, Tiara, go ahead. What do you think will happen?
One of the brother will feel guilty and then give back the bones.
Okay, so the brother will give back the bone, right? People are now missing because of him. So he feels guilty, and so the brother will give back the bone. All right, well, let's see if that's right. The chief was very upset and asked his people to search for any missing bones in the sand. Feeling guilty, the brother who held the bone tossed it into the sea. Immediately, the young villagers returned with more fish. The chief promised to send salmon to their river as long as they returned all of the bones. Okay, what are the 4 brothers going to do now? What happened next? Jay, are you there? Can you tell me what you think the 4 brothers will do now? What will the 4 brothers do?
The 4 brothers will head back to their island.
Yeah. And what do you think they'll do with the bones?
They will throw it in the
So they'll go home, and when they get the fish, they will return the bones. Very good, Jay. Excellent. All right, get that written down. Just like page 1 in your workbook, you will send me a picture of page 4 also to Moodle before our next class. All right, so listen carefully. By next class, before next class, send me a picture of page 1 and page 4 in your workbook. We did it together. So all you have to do is take a photo and send it to Moodle. All right. Okay, well, we have about 10 minutes. So I would like to play a game for these last 10 minutes. Does that sound good? All right. Now, we've only had a few people participate today. That's been very discouraging, to be honest. I'm very thankful, Dewika, Andrea, Dina, Tiara, Jessica, Jay, Bianca V. Thank you very much. Oh, and Dena as well. Thank you very much for participating in class. That's not even half the class. And remember, part of your grade is participating. Part of your grade is participating, all right? So I hope next class will be much better. Okay, I promised a game, so let me get the game. Let's see here, where is it? It's not those. It's not those, it's not that. Where is it? Hold on, I might have to close some things first. Give me a second here. All right, exit full screen, close. Oh, I think I just closed the game. Oh, no, I didn't. There it is. All right. Okay, here we go. Game time. This game is called Guess the Picture. Okay, now this is a game where you are all working together. You are all working together to open up part of the picture. And your job is to figure out what the picture is. All right, so we're going to do things that we've learned today. And you guys, I think, are going to do so good at this. So here's how we'll do it. Please write your answer in the chat. The first 2 people that get it right will get to pick a number. Now, those 2 people, I will not pick the next time. I'll pick different people to get more and more people answering. So go ahead, when I give the question, you're going to write it in the chat box, all right? So here's question number 1. What is the literary term for paint a picture using words? What is the literary term for paint a picture using words? Good, I've got 1 right answer. I can have 2, if 2 people can do it, they both get to pick a number. So I've got 1. Does anybody else know? Tiara's got it right. Who's going to join Tiara? Ah, that's right, Dina. That's right. So Tiara and Dina both told us that imagery is painting a picture using words. All right, Tiara and Dina, give me a number, please. Give me a number and I will move the block. Just tell me what number you want me to eliminate. All right, so Tiara says bye-bye to number 12. Okay. What number do you want, Dina? 25. Okay. Ooh, all right, next question. So this should be different people. This should be different people. What are sensory details? What are sensory details? What do you guys think? 2 people can get it. Now, Tiara and Dina, if you want to answer, you can. I just don't let you pick the number, okay? But if you want to give the answer, you can. All right, Andrea's got it. And Bianca V's got it. Good, so we have, good, and Tiara, you got it too. So Bianca V and Andrea, you get to pick 2 numbers for us. What numbers would you like to pick? Okay, Bianca V says number 1. And Andrea says number 20. Okay, any guesses yet? Can you figure it out? All right, let's go to the 3rd one. So this time, Bianca V and Andrea can't do it. I hope we get more than the other 2 girls. I'd love to see other people answer. I think this is going to be an easy one. The explosion rang throughout the city. Which sensory detail am I using in this sentence? The explosion rang throughout the city. All right, Bianca, very good. Very good. Good, Dana, that's right. So Bianca and Dana both got this one. It is sound. Sound. Right, very good. All right, so Bianca and Dana, go ahead and pick 2 numbers. 11. And what do you want, Dana? 2. Anybody have a guess? Have you guys figured it out? You've picked really good numbers. Oh, that's a good guess, but it's not quite right. Ah, Bianca got it. Ah, Tiara got it. But let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. So a couple of you got it. Some of you, good, Dina. let's go to this next one. The dog's hair was greasy when I pet it. Which one am I talking about here? Which sensory detail? The dog's hair was greasy. That's like when the hair's slimy. You're like, ooh, gross. Which one is that? Which sensory detail? Any idea? Good, Jay, that's right. Very good. Good try, Jessica. You can try again. When I pet it. The dog's hair was greasy when I pet it. When I pet the dog. The dog's hair was greasy when I pet it. Ooh, gross, yuck. Yeah, there we go, Tiara. Yeah, so Jay and Tiara, you're right. It is touch. It is touch. All right, Jay, Tiara, give me a number. I know some of you already figured it out. The question is, can some of you be more specific? You gave the correct answer, but there's actually a more specific answer. Can you figure it out? We'll just do one more question. What are the 2 types of readings that we will read this year? What are the 2 types of readings that we will read this year? Well, you got half of it, Jay. Your second half is right. Your second half is right. Check your notes, maybe just in case. There we go. Jay got it. Can someone else get it? What are the 2 types of stories? There we go, Andrea. That's right. That's right, Jessica. You got it. All right. So I'm going to let all 3 of you pick. Andrea, Jessica, Jay, give me a number, please. $21. 23 and 5. All right, now some of you got it. Does anyone else want to try to guess that has not guessed yet? What do you think it is? Jay, you got the specific answer. That's great. Jay got the specific answer. So many of you got it right. It is a bear, but more specifically, it is a grizzly bear. A grizzly bear. If you don't know how to spell that, let me put it in the chat for you. A grizzly bear. Very good. Hey, well done. You were able to guess it in the 10 minutes that we had. All right, so we have 2 minutes before class is over. What is your work for this week? Send a picture of workbook page 1. Send a picture of workbook page 4. That's it. And hopefully, if you've been paying attention, you've already finished it. Yeah? All right. Well, we are going to finish class now. Thank you to Dewika, Andrea, Dina, Tiara, Bianca V, Jay, Jessica, and Bianca, and Dena for answering questions today. Thank you. In fact, Queena, I think you answered one as well. Thank you for answering that one, Queena. So next week, I expect everyone else to be answering questions. All right. I will be giving you a score on your participation in class. Kamu akan menerima nilai untuk partisipasi. Kalau kamu tidak partisipasi di dalam kelas, nanti kamu bisa menerima kosong untuk 1 nilaimu. Oke, jadi penting setiap orang activating. Okay. Also, only one person has their camera on right now. That's not good. Yeah, we have to obey the school rules. Remember to keep your cameras on. Remember to keep your cameras on. You're like, but mister, I don't want my face. I'm sorry. We need to follow the rules, okay? All right. Hey, thank you so much. You did an excellent job today. Excellent answers. That was a game called Guess the Picture. Next week, we will play a different game. Every week, I have a different game, so it's not the same thing over and over. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and do greetings, and we will end class.
Greetings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimmy. God bless you.
God
Thank
bless
you too. God bless you too. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Doa. Halo, Putu Steven.
Halo, Mister.
Iya. Bisa tolong untuk berdoa?
Bisa, Mister. Teman-teman, mari kita berdoa. Tuhan Yesus, sekarang kami mau belajar. Tuhan berkati supaya kami bisa belajar dengan baik. Dan berkati juga Mister yang mengajar kami. Dalam nama Tuhan Yesus, haleluya, amin.
Amin. Oke, terima kasih. Ya, Mister lanjut dulu ya. Lanjut dulu materinya. Nanti setelah lanjut kita akan ya sedikit kuis ya dan juga sambil mengakhiri ya karena sekarang adalah pertemuan terakhir kita di materi sistem gerak ini. Ya, terakhir kan sampai di tropisme ya. Ya, kalau nggak salah terakhir sampai di gambar ini ya, mana dia? Oke, terakhir sampai di sini ya. Ya. Oke. Jadi kita lanjutkan sekarang ke nasti. Nah, perbedaan antara tropisme dan nasti adalah kalau di tropisme itu langsung ya, langsung dipengaruhi oleh rangsangannya, sedangkan di nasti ini enggak ya. Jadi nasti ini adalah gerak dari tumbuhan yang arahnya tidak bergantung atau tidak dipengaruhi oleh datangnya rangsangan gitu ya. Arah geraknya terjadi akibat perbedaan tekanan turgor. Nah, tekanan turgor itu adalah tekanan yang disebabkan oleh bagian dari dalam sel sehingga membuat sel tumbuhan itu menggembung ya alias kembung gitu ya. Kembung. Jadi makin besar. Nah, sehingga menyebabkan secara kasat mata kita melihat tumbuhan tersebut bergerak ya. Jadi kalau misalkan yang tropisme itu kan nih matahari misalkan terbitnya di timur, tumbuhannya ikut geraknya ke timur kayak gitu ya. Nah, tapi kalau nasti ini bedanya misalkan nih dia kena terik matahari dia akan menggulungkan daunnya. Nah, kayak gitu ya. Atau mungkin dia terkena matahari bunganya akan kuncup. Nah, atau kebalik ya, kena matahari bunganya mekar, enggak kena matahari bunganya kuncup. Nah, gitu. Tuh nasti ya. Tapi kalau tropisme misalkan matahari terbitnya di atas, berarti tumbuhnya ke atas, geraknya tumbuhan ke arah atas. Nah, gitu. Itu bedanya. Nah, sekarang kita ke contoh-contohnya ya. Contoh-contohnya yang pertama fotonasti sama seperti tropisme, fototropisme berarti dipengaruhi oleh cahaya. Nah, fotonasti berarti reaksi tumbuhan terhadap cahaya itu ya. Contohnya adalah bunga pukul 4 atau Mirabilis jalapa. Mungkin di rumah kalian ada ya. Jadi bunga ini setiap sore dia mekar sekitar jam 3 sampai jam 6 sore gitu dia mekar ya. Warnanya tuh kalau nggak salah ada yang ungu, ada yang merah, ada yang putih gitu ya. Nah, itu setiap sore mekar, nanti setelah lewat sore akan kuncup lagi. Ya. Nah, ini juga mungkin kalian lebih tahu lagi nih bunga kembang sepatu ya. Bunga kembang sepatu itu yang biasanya kalau dicabut terus di belakangnya itu manis banget. Tuh, saya sering nyari dulu itu ya. Sampai dimarah sama yang punya rumah itu. Itu kalau siang mekar dia, tapi kalau malam dia tertutup. Nih bunga kembang sepatu. Berikutnya ada seismonasti, gerak dengan rangsangan berupa sentuhan. Contohnya gerak menutupnya daun putri malu ya. Kalian pasti tahu lah ya, putri malu apalagi ya di sekitaran rumah itu dekat-dekat sumber-sumber air itu biasanya pasti ada ya. Nih kalau biasanya kalian sentuh pasti dia akan langsung mengkeret begitu ya. Apa bilangnya mengkeret? Menutup. Nah, menutup mekar-mekar daunnya. Nah, tuh. Jadi kayak malu begitu ya. Makanya dibilang putri malu. Kalau nggak tahu putri malu ya kalian bisa mainan ke ya tempat yang agak kotor ya, di sebelah-sebelah got itu biasanya ada. Kalau di situ banyak ada tumbuhan liar ya, karena memang hidupnya putri malu ini banyak kan jadi gulma ya, atau rumput-rumput liar begitu. Nah, selanjutnya ada niktinasti. Niktinasti ini adalah gerak tidur tumbuhan karena adanya rangsangan berupa gelap. Ya. Contohnya menutupnya daun pete Cina pada malam hari. Nih, pada malam hari daun pete Cinanya ketutup. Kalau pengen tahu bentuknya pete Cina kayak gimana ya silahkan kalian cari di Google. Ya. Karena di Bali kalau nggak salah jarang banget ada pete Cina. Mungkin di beberapa, ya mungkin kalian ada yang pelihara gitu ya, merawat atau gimana. Dan juga ada bunga apa itu ya, lagi satu bunga yang mekar setiap tengah malam. Itu ya, Mister kurang tahu itu apa, tapi ada gitu. Bunga yang mekar setiap tengah malam. Bentuknya mirip seperti bunga kecubung ya, tapi sepertinya itu bukan gitu ya. Kalau ada yang tahu, nah silakan informasikan ke kolom chat. Yaitu masuk dalam niktinasti ya. Oke, selanjutnya ada termonasti. Kalau termonasti ini adalah gerak karena adanya rangsangan berupa suhu. Ya. Contohnya adalah bunga tulip. Kalau kalian tahu bunga tulip itu ada di Bedugul ya. Ada. Dekatnya Taman Mawar itu ada kalau nggak salah ada bunga tulip di situ. Itu dia akan mekar kalau suhunya lagi naik dan menutup kalau suhunya lagi turun. Mungkin kalian kalau ke Bedugul biasanya pasti ngelihat bunganya lagi kuncup ya, karena memang suhu di Bedugul itu kan dingin ya, cenderung dingin. Nah kalian pasti melihatnya kuncup. Tapi kalau pas lagi siang hari, gitu ya, dia ya kalau kondisi lagi panas pasti akan mekar ya bunga tulip ini. Nah mungkin kalian tahu negara yang dijuluki negara tulip apa? Negara di dunia yang dijuluki negara tulip karena saking banyaknya ada bunga tulip di situ. Ya nyambung dikit ke IPS ya. Oke. Ada yang pernah ke situ mungkin? Nah, ya benar ya, ini dari desa ya. Oh Dina, oke, terima kasih Dina ya. Jawabannya Belanda ya, Belanda. Mungkin kalian ada yang pernah ke Belanda mungkin? Ya pasti kalian kalau mau wisata ke situ diajak selain ke kincir angin juga diajak ke Taman Tulip di situ ya. Oke, berikutnya ada kemonasti. Kalau kemonasti ini stomata apa ya, gerak yang terjadi karena adanya akibat rangsangan zat kimia. Contohnya adalah stomata yang membuka pada siang hari. Ya. Kemudian ada hidronasti karena air ya. Akibat rangsangannya air, contohnya adalah gerak menggulungnya daun alang-alang ketika kekurangan air. Ya. Kalau kalian tahu alang-alang, alang-alang adalah salah satu rumput liar juga. Ya, rumput liar yang tumbuhnya tinggi-tinggi itu ya. Biasanya warnanya coklat kekuningan. Nah, itu dijadiin obat juga ya, teh alang-alang ya kalau kalian pernah mencoba. Tuh. Berikutnya yang terakhir ada yang namanya nasti kompleks ya. Nasti kompleks itu karena adanya gerak nasti yang lebih dari satu. Ya contohnya mungkin ya bunga tulip. mekar pas panas, kemudian stomatanya membuka pada siang hari. Nah, itu namanya nasti kompleks ya. Jadi ada ada tanaman yang yang melakukan gerakan nasti ini lebih dari satu. Tuh. Ya hampir semua tumbuhan sih sebenarnya gerakannya ini adalah nasti kompleks ya. Oke, berikutnya ada yang namanya taksis. Taksis ini adalah gerak seluruh tumbuhan karena adanya rangsangan dari luar. Jadi ya, ini yang Mister maksud ya. Ada tumbuhan yang memang tidak kasat mata, alias bisa dilihat dengan menggunakan mikroskop, gitu ya. Nah itu beberapa tumbuhannya yang seperti itu ada yang bisa bergerak atau berpindah tempat, gitu ya, berpindah posisi. Nah inilah dia taksis ya, karena dipengaruhi adanya rangsangan. Yang pertama adalah fototaksis, yaitu gerak seluruh tubuh tumbuhan dengan rangsangan berupa cahaya. Contohnya adalah Euglena, ya. Spesies Euglena ini adalah salah satu tumbuhan mikro bisa dibilang ya, tumbuhan mikro karena dia berukuran sangat kecil, hanya bisa dilihat oleh mikroskop. Ya. Bergerak mendekati cahaya. Ya. Nah, kemudian ada yang namanya kemotaksis ya. Kalau kemotaksis ini adalah gerak seluruh tumbuhan karena zat kimia. Contohnya adalah gerak spermatozoid ke archegonium pada tumbuhan lumut. Nah, jadi nggak cuma manusia atau hewan aja yang punya sel sperma dan sel telur ya, tapi tumbuhan juga ada ya. Dan namanya juga sama, spermatozoid ya. Kalau ya bisa kalian bilang spermatozoa juga bisa. Nah, jadi spermatozoid itu tetap bergerak ya. Nanti kalian di kelas 9 belajar tentang sistem reproduksi manusia, juga sel sperma juga bisa bergerak ya. Sama, ini tumbuhan juga sama. Jadi ada rangsangan berupa zat kimia yang dikeluarkan oleh archegonium. Archegonium itu adalah alat kelamin betina pada tumbuhan lumut ya. Beda kalau di tumbuhan yang biasa kita pelajari, alat kelamin jantan betinanya apa? Coba bantu Mister. Kalau di tumbuhan biasa atau tumbuhan tingkat tinggi, alat kelaminnya ada dua. Apa aja kalau boleh Mister tahu? Apa saja alat kelamin pada tumbuhan? Oke, terima kasih. Ya, putik dan juga benang sari ya. Putik untuk yang betina, benang sari untuk yang jantan. Nah, tapi di lumut dan paku berbeda ya. Beda namanya dan juga bentuknya berbeda. Makanya namanya bisa beda juga. Ya, kalau di lumut dan paku alat kelamin jantannya itu namanya antheridium, sedangkan alat kelamin betinanya itu namanya archegonium. Ya. Nanti di kelas 9 kalian akan pelajari. Oke, itu saja. Ya, terakhir ada gerak higroskopis. Nah, ini karena adanya perubahan kadar air di dalam sel tumbuhan sehingga menyebabkan penyusutan tidak merata pada bagian sel tumbuhan. Contohnya yang bisa kita lihat itu adalah pecahnya buah polong-polongan. Buah polong-polongan, maksudnya kacang polong gitu ya. Kacang polong kalau udah kering itu pasti akan terbuka kulitnya, kebuka sendiri kulitnya karena kering ya. Itu beda kalau misalkan kita lihat tumbuhan lain, kalau misalkan kering ya kering gitu ya, bijinya tetap di dalam gitu ya. Misalkan di kacang tanah kalau udah kering ya udah kering aja gitu ya, bijinya enggak keluar gitu. Sedangkan kacang polong beda ya. Kalau kacang polong dia begitu sudah kehabisan air, dia akan terbuka kulit-kulitnya itu ya. Jadi biji-bijinya ada beberapa yang jatuh, bahkan ada yang nyangkut juga. Tuh. Selain itu ada yang namanya tumbuhan paku atau pakis. Kalau kalian lihat di belakangnya itu seperti ada lubang-lubang gitu. Nah, itu namanya kotak sporangium. Dan itu bisa membuka dan menutup ya. Membuka kalau misalkan kurang air, menutup kalau misalkan banyakkan air. Gitu. Oke. Ya, segitu aja materi yang Mister sampaikan. Ya, belum mulai istirahat loh ya. Baru jalan 20 menit. Udah minta istirahat. Oke, kita sekarang latihan soal ya. Latihan soal. Silakan ini Mister masukkan linknya dulu. Mister masukkan linknya beserta kodenya. Jadi kalian tinggal klik linknya, kemudian masukkan kodenya. Ya, silahkan kalian masukkan nama ya sesuai dengan nama kalian sendiri ya. Jangan kalian memasukkan nama orang lain karena ini masuk nilai buat kalian ya, bukan buat orang lain. Ya. Silakan diklik linknya, masukkan kodenya. Kodenya yang angka di bawah itu ya. Kemudian masukkan nama, langsung mulai. Nah, nanti di akhir pertemuan, kalau misalkan sudah selesai semua, kita akan bahas ya. Yuk, belum ada yang bergabung ini. Silakan klik linknya. Oke. Sudah 3 orang. Ini yang masuk ada, oke, 1 orang nggak masuk ya. 1 orang nggak masuk hari ini. Oke, tinggal 1 orang ya. Mungkin kalian bisa mengingatkan. Ini kalau nggak salah ada Ino ya yang belum hadir. Bisa dicari, diminta tolong carikan informasi ya. Oke, kalau sudah 14 orang kita langsung mulai ya. Nah, sambil nunggu juga, Mister menginformasikan untuk yang tugas poster yang belum mengerjakan ini ada 7 orang ya, 7 orang yang masih belum. Silakan kalian kerjakan, kumpul aja nggak apa-apa terlambat daripada nggak dapat nilai karena nggak kumpul ya. Oke, ini ada 7 orang. Ya, Mister akan informasikan di kolom chat ya, sambil kalian nanti mengerjakan soalnya. Ayo, ini baru 13 orang yang masuk ya. Baru 13 orang, sisanya yang lain bisa tolong masuk ya, karena ini akan masuk ke dalam penilaian juga. Ya. Oke. Oke, silakan ayo 13 orang. Masa nih yang sisanya mana nih ya? Ya, karena sudah 14, Mister langsung mulai. Untuk yang belum join, ya silakan join langsung. Masukkan saja kodenya, nanti kalian akan mengerjakan langsung di linknya itu ya. Kerjakan pelan-pelan, jangan terlalu terburu-buru ya. Waktunya memang jalan mundur, tapi ketika waktu habis itu tidak akan mengganti soal, gitu ya. Nggak akan langsung hilang terus berganti soal, enggak. Tapi kalian tetap diberikan kesempatan sampai selesai menjawab. Ya. Jadi kerjakan dengan hati-hati. Ya. Dan nanti jangan lupa setelah kalian sudah selesai, upload skor yang kalian dapatkan di LMS. Ya. LMS di bagian bawah-bawah itu ya. Jadi di situ ada PPT dan yang paling bawah itu adalah tempat kalian mengupload atau mengunggah skor yang kalian peroleh ya. Ya, skor itu adalah poin ya, poin. Berapa dapat, misalkan dapat 10.000 sekian, nah, masukin dah 10.000 sekian. Ya. Oke, terima kasih, Mr. Matikan recordingnya.